Stage 1. This stage begins after a Siege player has been playing for their first 50 hours or so. That's because at this stage, they already have unlocked ranked, multiple operators, and they understand all of the basics of the game. They start queuing ranked, and this is when they start running into problems. They play whatever operator they feel like, whether it be Ashe, Iana, or Jaeger, but no matter who they play, they just aren't playing well. They bottom frag, and their lack of performance bothers them. They might even start getting randoms or their friends commenting on their lack of skill, especially if their friends are higher ranks or better mechanically than them. This causes them to become self-conscious of themselves, and they really struggle to rank up. They are officially hardstuck. This is where players are truly tested. There are players who are not willing to put in the effort and they just quit right here. However, many don't quit because they love the uniqueness of Siege, so they look for ways to get back to winning. Those players then move on to the next phase. Stage 2 begins when players decide to try support for the first time. Their teammates have asked them to play it before, but they ignored these requests because they figured it would just make them play worse and lose even more. They viewed it as stupid since they already performed badly on the best operators in the game, so why would they be good on operators with bad guns? But because of the consistent requests from teammates, they decide to give it a try. Once they decide to play support, they realize the job is a whole lot easier. All they have to do is stay alive and get the wall, and then their teammates don't care what happens next. Also, their callouts are helping the team win gunfights, they're getting the diffuser down every round, and on defense they are a lot better at holding power positions since it doesn't require nearly as much mechanical skill. While they are performing better, they also notice that their friends, if they queue with any of them, are performing better since they can pick the operators they are best at. This is when players officially commit to playing support in ranked. They realize it's helping them win more games, and they enjoy being the backbone of the team, even if they aren't the best on the scoreboard. Stage 3 is when support players start to really get the hang of things. They begin enjoying the role in Stage 2. However, this is when they really start practicing and trying to improve. They start learning more support operators instead of just playing Thermite or Thatcher on attack and Smoke on defense. They'll start playing operators like Ace, Twitch, Shield operators, Echo, Cade, or really anyone the team actively needs. They haven't mastered them by any means, but they start to have a basic understanding of many more of these operators. They also begin learning some more advanced strategies. They'll begin learning Maverick tricking or Habana tricking, and it will blow their mind. They definitely haven't learned everything yet, but they are at least putting in the effort, and they begin seeing the fruits of their labor. They start slowly ranking up, and they start to notice small improvements over time. And this isn't the beginning. Stage 4 is when things really start to take off. That's because they start ranking up at a faster rate. All of their practice in the previous stage allowed them to improve to the point where they lost their hardstuck status. Their newfound skill also causes them to meet new people to queue with. Randoms want to queue with them because of their ability to be useful on support, and they begin meeting new people outside the game as well, since they need good teammates that can frag out to win. However, as they start ranking up, a major issue in their play becomes more obvious, and that is their severe lack of mechanical skill. As their ability to hold up mechanically falls off a cliff and they start losing gunfights on a consistent basis, they move into the next stage. Stage 5 begins with the player realizing that they're winning less and less. Their friend group can't win a game to save their life, or if they're solo queuing, they just lose constantly while being at the bottom of the scoreboard. Every time they lose a round or perform badly, they use the fact that they're playing support as an excuse, and they blame the rest of their teammates. However, as you get higher in rank, the expectations of support players are different. You can no longer get away with going negative every game just because you play hard breach. So their teammates get annoyed with them because of their poor performance and lack of accountability. This leads to them playing even worse since now their teammates are pointing out their flaws. It eventually gets to a point where they either stop playing or they realize their problems and put in the hours to correct their mistakes. If they decide not to give up and they choose the latter, they move on to the next stage. Stage 6 is a lot like Stage 4 for support. However, in this stage, they begin to practice and improve mechanically. They finally come to grips with the fact that they still have to be good at gunfights if they want to win games, no matter what kind of operator they are playing. So they begin putting hours into the shooting range, arcade, and aim labs or Kovacs to train their aim and warm up. They also start watching content creators to hopefully learn more about the game from players at a higher level than them. They'll watch pros and replicate their movements and decision making, and they'll watch tips creators and take notes. Eventually, after hours and hours of practice and dedication, they do start to see improvement mechanically though. Their flicks are more precise, their ability to track is more consistent, and they're aiming at head level a lot more often. And after they start noticing improvement in their mechanical skill, they move to Stage 7. Stage 7 is when a support player starts to grow the group they play with. They do this by either meeting more people in game who are higher ranks than them and adding them, or by meeting them in Discord servers, Twitter, or other social media platforms. This allows them to queue more consistently with a 5-stack, and it allows them to queue with players that are better than them, which can help them learn even more. Another benefit of them meeting more people is that they can now enroll in tournaments and Siege Cup, so some start doing so, and they begin to enjoy the additional competitiveness, difficulty, and progression these competitions provide. And now that they have improved their skill and grown their groups of friends they queue with, they start ranking up really fast. Stage 8 is when all the effort and time put into the support role finally starts to bear fruit. Their callouts become more precise, they have mastered pretty much every support operator, and their drone work is impeccable. Their mechanical skill has also greatly surpassed the average support player, which allows them to still be useful after using their utility. These new boosts in their skill level, combined with the fact that they constantly queue with other players, allows them to start climbing the ranks and fast. They go on long win streaks, and they begin racking up RP, all while having a good KD. This allows them to build a bond with the people they queue with on a regular basis, and eventually leads to them finally hitting champion, after hundreds or thousands of hours of effort. Stage 9 begins after a support player finally hits champion, and this is when support players finally see the fruits of their labor. They start consistently hitting champion every season, which allows them to queue with better players. They also start performing better in Siege Cup, and they start making it a lot farther in low-level tournaments. They know all the tricks with all the operators they play, and they have effectively mastered the role. Also, by this point in their career, their mechanical skill has reached a point where it is within the top 1% of Siege players. They're able to hang with almost everyone they verse, and they still put up a good fight. However, as what happens with many who do the same thing for thousands of hours, they begin to question the point of continuing to play. They feel like they have achieved everything they can achieve within their so-called Siege career. This leads them to a massive crossroads and the final stage. Stage 10 is where support players make real decisions about where to go next. Will they focus more on tournaments? Are they interested in going pro, or do they want to just stay a ranked player? All of this is decided at this stage. They mainly begin contemplating this because after hitting champion a few times, it kind of loses its meaning. Some also decide to switch up their role within their group. This can be because they are bored, they realize they are better at something else, or their mechanical skill pushes them to it. No matter their reasoning though, many will go down this path. Whether they choose to switch roles or whether they choose to pursue a tournament doesn't matter though. They have already reached the upper echelon of competition and the highest level they can achieve outside of pro play, which gives them opportunities to queue with people they couldn't have imagined before and allows them to enjoy some of the best competition gaming has to offer, which is why many of us grind in the first place. They could go all the way to professional play and become one of the greatest players of all time, they could become a content creator, or they could just stay in ranked. Their future is completely unknown. However, what is known is that they've spent hundreds or thousands of hours dedicated to playing the support role in Siege, which is something that very few people can say they've done. Anyways, that about wraps up the 10 stages of every support player in Siege X. If you enjoyed today's video, I make Siege content just like this twice a week, so go subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter if you don't want to miss the next upload. If you want to watch another video just like this one, a video will be popping up on your screen right now that I'm sure you all enjoy. I'll see you next time, friends, and peace.